I meant to say that too. I'm sorry, Dr. Matei. Right. So you can go forward, Mr. Walsh. Thank you. So here's kind of what our mindset is. And I know a lot of, we were anticipating parents, but we're so happy, Tyler, that you came and that you're here. It says, who can recall what it felt like to be a freshman in high school? You can't answer that question, so don't worry about it. We'll get your answer at the end of this year, and hopefully it will be a good one like we spoke about earlier, right? What kind of supports were you in need of? We know that, again, it's been a lot going on, man, through just the distance learning piece. There's been social justice issues. There's been an election that has happened. There's been so many different things, right, that we can think of. COVID-19, just things on top of things that we've kind of had to kind of manage. And so what our goal is to make sure you know that you're welcome, you're supported, and everything you need in order to be successful during your freshman year, you will have available. That's what we want to know, right? We want you to know the last question, right? Are you able to turn, do you know how and who to turn to in terms of how to get these supports? That is exactly why we're here. We don't want to just put it out there and know the information. We want you to know who to seek in terms of being able to receive those reports or those supports. And so we're hopeful that at the end of this presentation, you're not just familiar with what we offer, but also who to go and how to seek those services in the event of you needing them moving forward. Okay. You can go forward, Mr. Walsh. Thank you, man. And so again, TBS services, this is kind of what we offer. Again, there's a lot of big terms here. I'm gonna try my best to break them down. If you have any questions, again, Tyler, just raise your hand or say, hey, Mr. Cedric, what's that? And I promise I'll slow down, right? And so we offer social emotional learning groups. And again, a lot of key terms, right? Social emotional learning, just meaning that there are a lot of other things outside of academics that you may need assistance with. Things like social skills, things like grievance and loss that you may be experiencing that you may have gone through a loss, right? There are also things that you may be familiar with in regards to things like how to calm down, or what we call regulation, anger management, right? Any other tool that you may need in terms of being able to be, again, successful at our school. That's kind of what we offer through our emotional learning groups. I believe if you're familiar with your TBS on your staff, that lady's name was Mrs. Virgo. Tyler, have you heard of Mrs. Virgo?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And so she is kind of what I do on Carter's campus is what she does on your campus, right? And so you're familiar with how she runs groups, she sees kids, and she provides supports when needed, right? One-on-one individualized skills, we definitely do that. It's not therapy. We kind of just give you the skills you need, right, in order to be successful, whether that's how to be motivated. Sometimes we lose sight of that. Whether that's, hey, I need to learn how to make friends, that we can work on that. If it's, hey, you know what, man, I'm uncomfortable with asking for help, Mr. Cedric. It's not something I like to do. Then again, we're going to give you all the skills you need to be able to do that, right? Psychoeducational groups, we have different things that we offer, things like stress reduction if you have a difficult there, anger management in case you have challenges there. And then we also go around and do classroom presentations, which I got a chance to do something today and actually met Mrs. Zabalas today, her daughter, in one of those presentations. And so those are more universal in terms of like different things that everyone at the high school can use, right? How to deal with tough friendships. What does a healthy relationship look like? Things like that you just need to kind of know in order to navigate your Carter experience. Those are more of your generalized classroom presentation skills. And so we'll definitely get a chance to go over those hopefully this year as you come in one of the freshmen. So you can go ahead and go, Mr. Walsh. Thank you so much, man. And so the last one of my slides today is how do you get these supports? I've included here a link that if you ever need access, you can go and you can kind of provide that and get that. And just so you know, once that referral is contacted, then what I do is contact home and kind of see what the needs are. And then we develop a plan to kind of put you in the services we talked about. Do you need individual service? Are you okay with being in one of our groups? Is there something specific that you need that we can offer? And if not, again, making sure you have the resources that we can go outwards to in order for you to make sure you get what you get. And so that is kind of my presentation on TBS services. I believe the next person you will hear from will be Mr. Walsh. Oh, my contact information in case you needed it. Thank you, Mr. Walsh.
All right. All right. I am the program specialist or dean of students here. And basically the thing that you want to remember is if you're having any kind of issue, you want to talk to me. That means if I've got issues with a teacher and I don't know how to talk to the teacher in a way that's going to be productive, you can talk to me and I can have that conversation with the teacher in a professional manner where we're going to come up with solutions as far as if you're sitting next to a student that keeps bothering you or the teacher's going too fast or presenting in a way that you don't understand or that you're not able to keep up with. You say, hey, Walsh, I need you to talk to you. I'm having an issue with this or that. So I'm your point man. And then as far as working with Mr. Deason, I'm so excited to have Mr. Deason with our team, because I can then having that conversation with the student, I can then say, hey, Mr. Deason, I think this is the next step. Can you please reach out to this student? And then we can get into those services that he just spoke about. Or the wellness center. We'll be getting into the wellness centers as well. So the first thing I like to do is meet with students and discuss issues related to your behaviors, academics, or emotional distress or needs. So we'll sit down in my office, we'll find out what's going on. If I see that there's behaviors, say at lunch or passing period, I might go up to you and just have a quick little conversation. I'm constantly out on the campus, walking around, talking to students, finding out how it's going, what's going on with them, and what they might. Okay, so the goal of this is to remove obstacles that can cause a student to not be at their best, or that you're at your best. I'm 100% about support and not punitive. Okay, schools across the country are moving away from this concept of suspending and punishment, and we're moving into this concept of teaching behaviors, supporting people where they're at. And I'm 100% believing in that. The research is out there that shows that it's effective. And as far as my personality goes, you'll see that I'm just one of those people that is extremely approachable. It may not seem like it on a forum like this, but when we're walking around, I just love talking to the students. So we talk about the problems that determine and then determine goals such as reduction of problem behaviors. So if we're getting, say, 10 referrals a week, we're going to look for a reduction of 5, or an increase in classroom homework participation, work on missing assignments, that kind of thing. And that slide has more to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the presentation part and bring it down. So the process of checking in with an adult that truly cares for them has been shown to provide dramatic results in academics and reduction of problem behaviors. And like I said, there's tons and tons of research to back that up. And I am a big time proponent of the check-in, check-out process. All right, the next thing is, it's called restorative practices. The restorative practices concept is related to the nature of today's student, as you know, Ms. Brooks. The nature of school is no longer that I am the adult or the teacher and that you are the student, and therefore you need to listen to me. Just as every other industry has faced changes, the student of today is not the same as many years ago. The more we treat students as equals in the classroom setting, the better the student will do. Restorative practices is based on this idea of equality and equity for all students. When behaviors are preventing a student success in classroom, a teacher can request, myself, a dean, or the dean can request a restorative practices conversation, either in my office or in the teacher's classroom. We discuss an event using affective statements. That means that we talk about how we felt or how we perceived the event, instead of attacking each other saying, well, you did this and you did that. And so far, that's been a very effective practice. And again, there's research that backs up restorative practices, tremendous amount of research. And again, we're just treating each other like we respect each other and we care for each other. All right, so the next thing we're actually in this process right now of preventive conferences on restorative relationships. Each year around March or May, myself or the dean contacts all the feeder middle schools to identify students that will need additional support and preventive conferences to discuss student expectations. This process is actually based on the relationship building technique called restorative relationships. Starting from ground zero with 8th graders transitioning to high school has shown to provide tremendous benefits to student achievement and graduation rates. That transition period, basically 8th to 9th grade, is a huge predictor of graduation. The more successful that you are in that 9th grade year, obviously the better your high school career is going to be. All right, and then the key part of that is that relationship continues throughout your time at the high school. All right.
Good evening. I am Mrs. Mitchell. I'm the Wellness Center counselor. Next slide.
All right.
Thank you. So the Wellness Center, it kind of looks like a den. We have blackout curtains. I have aromatherapy flowing in the air and soft music playing. And it's a place that was created for students. It's for students to come in, sit down, and take a breather. Sometimes we go through things in life and we're expected to just keep going on, and we're expected to walk into math one class and do our math, or we're expected to go out to PE and run that mile, when we might have something going on inside of us and it keeps us from functioning. And so that's where the Wellness Center comes in for our students. It's open before school, during the day, as well as after school. So if you ever are feeling the need that, hey, I need to take a minute to gather myself, hey, I need a moment to just not deal with other people, that's when you can come to the Wellness Center. And so in the Wellness Center, I deal with a lot of things. Students can come in if they're having an issue with being absent, you know, maybe something is preventing them from coming to school, or maybe they're not wanting to be in a class. So we try to figure things out. We talk about academics. I help students deal with anger, anxiety, conflict mediation. You might, you know, especially coming in as a freshman, a lot of the stuff that happened in the middle school, it comes with you and it hasn't been settled. And so we still have students dealing with stuff from the 6th grade. And so sometimes they just need to sit down and talk. And so I'm available for that. And some students deal with depression, or they may have family issues, or, you know, with this COVID, a lot of people have lost loved ones, lost friends. Maybe they've lost their home. And so it's just an opportunity to come in and talk. And I also help students deal with, you know, their identity, whether it's regarding their race, their gender, whatever it is, or peer relationships. You could come in and sit down and talk. And it's a private conversation. Everything that we talk about is confidential, except in those instances where I do need to report, but it's a place for all students to come in. And like I said, just take a minute to say, hey, I may need a moment to myself, or hey, can I come and talk to you? Next slide. And so I do individual and I do group counseling. And so everybody is not good in groups. Some people, you know, feel like they don't want people to be in their business and they don't want to share, and that's okay. So we could come in and, you know, do a one-on-one with me. I don't allow students to stay all day, but you come in when you need to, because the goal is to gather those skills and those tools that you need to be successful, to take back to the classroom, to take home, so that you can, you know, live a productive life and try to work through any of your issues. So some of the groups that I do run are for anger management. We have a girls and a boys circle. We know girls and boys, you know, have different issues. And so we try to separate it, and so we can actually talk about different things. We have outside people to come in to work through with our African-American males with our SMART program. Again, we have a grief and loss support group. Right before the shutdown, we were starting our LGBTQ support group for students. And so that's something that we will definitely bring back when we go back to school. And our All Stars program is for our students that are maybe in foster care. So we know that sometimes they need that extra support. You know, they may have been removed from their home the night before and then brought to school just that next day, or just anything. And so we do have support for those students. I also teach a drug and alcohol class. It is not required, it is not mandatory, but we do suggest it if you do have any issues, you know, with substance abuse. We talk to your parents. And again, it's not about punishment, but it's about making better choices. And then we also offer meditation and mindfulness. We offer yoga. It's not about religion. It's not about any of that. It's about learning how to control your breathing, to help you calm down, to help you relax, to help you relieve some of that stress and anxiety. And then the yoga is also there for exercise. And so again, in the Wellness Center, we offer, you know, different things for each student. And again, you are welcome to come anytime during the day and to receive different services. And I work hand in hand with Mr. Deason as well as Mr. Walsh.
Okay, Tyler, I am Mrs. Zabala, and I am part of the BAR program for our 9th grade students at Carter High School. And BAR stands for Building Assets, Reducing Risks. Go ahead, Mr. Walsh.
Sorry.
All right, so the BAR program, it is a 9th grade program. that gives a comprehensive approach to meeting students' academic, social, and emotional needs. And it's very intentional on how it goes about doing this. And the steps are to create positive, intentional relationships between your teachers and the other staff and the students. Collaborative problem solving by teacher teams. So your teachers for math and science and English are all going to be the same. And we meet once a week and we talk about you and talk about your progress. We use real-time data to guide our instructional actions. We identify your strengths. And all of that is part of connecting with our 9th grade students and giving them a connection to a new school and new teachers and a new environment, and not letting you fall through the cracks. We also address student issues like failing courses, dropping out, engaging in harmful behavior. And basically, we're doing all of this by making a connection with you, the student. Okay, Mr. Walsh. So we focus on the whole student. Keep in mind, when you enter high school, especially a large high school like Carter, lots of times you might feel like you're just a number. Okay, you use your number for lunch, you use your number for attendance. Okay, you use your number to check out a book. But we want our 9th graders to have an identity. And we want our teachers to know who you are. And that is why you will get the same core teachers, so that we get a sense of who you are, and then we can discuss strengths and weaknesses and things like that. All right, next one. So I-time. These are really, these 9th graders this year really enjoyed the I-time lessons. But one of the biggest impacts of our students is the building of intentional relationships through the I-time curriculum. Teachers, and this is going to be your math teacher, your science teacher, and your English teacher, we alternate weeks. We're able to build some time to learn about you guys and your needs. So our I-time, it's kind of difficult in an online setting, but when we're in person, it will have this intent. It allows students to collaborate with each other. And it gives students an opportunity to get to know each other and build relationships, because you may not know a lot of people when you get to Carter. And so we need to build those relationships. So the block meetings are what I was talking about before. So this cohort of teachers, so it ends up being your math teacher, your English teacher, and your science teacher. We hold weekly meetings. Your grades are a good indicator of how you're doing. But we also talk about issues that don't necessarily involve your grades. Like if you were to have an issue pop up, or we notice something socially changing or something with your attendance, those core teachers in these block meetings are going to get together and meet and discuss what's going on with you, and then come up with a plan in order to address what you need. Okay. Next. Or is that the last one? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So family structure, key element for student success. And when families are engaged in the learning process, students develop a better self-image and are better equipped with support necessary to overcome obstacles. And this is why we do invite parents to our block meetings when the need arises, because we want input from all parties involved, students, parents, teachers, in order to have you be the best you can be and the most successful you can be at Carter High School.
All right, I believe that's it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Tyler, it was nice to meet you, and we're looking forward to you coming on campus. Are you excited?
Not really, but
Are you nervous or what? Come on now.
nah, I don't get nervous.
You good? You're good? All right.
Do you have any
So your
questions,
sister's,
Tyler?
your sister's going to help you out on that, right?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. All right. Well, you know who to talk to if you got any issues, or if you need any help, or if you need somebody to show you around. You can talk to myself, Miss Bala, Dr. Matetti, Miss Patterson. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And like I said, we're all here to help you. The reason why we are in this career is because we want to help students. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it was a lot of information, Tyler. We get it, man.
It
If you
was.
have any questions or concerns, this is just an intro. So if you see any of us on campus want to pick our brains or just say, hey, know that these are allies, man. People are here to help you. People are here to support you, to high five you on a bad day. That's kind of our role, man. So if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask us, okay?
Okay.
All right.
100%. All right. Thank you, Tyler.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
All right.
Thank you guys for doing this. Really appreciate it. And, I just sent another text right now, so we'll see if we get more people to join. Hey, Cedric, how are you, first of all?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good.
Man.
I'll wait for Zavala to